I forgot to change the title of my stream. Hang on. Let me just fix that. Oh wait, hang on. Things are breaking. Give me a half a second, alright? So I tried to get my my Microsoft Sidewinder steering wheel working. Unfortunately, the news there is not great. The wheel works just fine, but the game doesn't read it correctly, as has been the case in the past. Don't worry, it's not. I'm fixing things. Okay. Alright. Stormy. Yeah, so I tried getting my steering wheel working, and as of last time, it was incorrectly reading any turn to the left as being cranked all the way to the right. Oh, right. There we go. Is that not just an overlay? Yeah, pretty much. So the wheel itself. This is very loud. You know what? Before we go anywhere, volume. Is there a mod to configurable sound volume? Just download that real quick. 3 years old, but hopefully it still works. But yeah, no, basically it is just an overflow, essentially. The wheel reports in the range of -512 to 512. So 1,000 units of range. Which is great, honestly. It's fine. It doesn't need more than that. But that is -512 to 512. And as soon as it goes into the negative, which is the left side of the wheel, the game starts reading it as just maxed out all the way to the right. Other wheels do the same thing, as I understand it, and they're fine. It's just this game. I'm concerned by the lack of sound. Okay. We'll find out how odd that is. But yeah, so amongst the things that I tried changing the way that the wheels data is reported. Oh, no storm this time. Okay. So I tried to make it entirely positive. That didn't work. Have the car about half volume for now. That is so much more pleasant. And also a lot less damaging for my hearing. But yeah, no, my understanding is my wheel isn't the only wheel that does that, but there are a lot of wheels that do that. Of course, it also doesn't read the pedals properly. It has actually very similar to the same bug. As soon as I let off the pedal entirely, it will read that as me slamming the pedal to the floor. It has, damn. What happened to it? Did it just, like, stop working, or...? Just died? Huh. That is unfortunate. It also says something about the quality of this Microsoft deal that I have, because, like... I think it's from 2001? It's a quarter century old. Yeah, you want to get one of those ones with, like, the big direct drive motor that you can attach a real steering wheel to and stuff. Oh, man. That would be cool. Probably also work with my summer car. €450? Not bad. Is that, let's see, not euro, that's pound. Duh. 450 pounds, though. Question is, do you have a steering wheel to attach to it, or is that like the whole kit? Zip Tie Tech, which is a... Yes, I remember you now. Also, it highlighted you as a returning chatter, and I think that's funny. The whole kit, nice. Zip Tie Tech recently, like a couple weeks ago, dropped a video It's Alex from LTT, but he obviously no longer works at LTT. He did a review of a apparently very cheap direct drive steering wheel that's pretty good. Like, his major complaints are basically it doesn't have out-of-the-box support with default mappings for a lot of games, so you have to configure it yourself. That is not a big complaint. Let me be real here. That is like a non-issue. And that is why we wear a seatbelt. But yeah, when you get home, send you the link to the wheel. When you get home, send you the link. Oh, you okay? I get what you're saying. When I get back to the house, you've sent me a link. Okay. You know what's wild is how high the my character's stress is right now, because it actually goes down when you're driving at speed, and somehow it didn't. Although you know what probably is it also goes up when you're in a collision. Yep. So I watched someone play an early build of my summer car yesterday after my stream, like late at night because I was tired and looking for something to watch. It is, isn't it? But anyway, they got in the van. It took them 20 minutes to get it like in gear. They figured out reverse. They couldn't figure out forward because they misread the G to shift up as Q. So they were just repeatedly leaning instead of shifting up. They eventually figured it out, and then they decided they were going to drive to town. So they get to the corner back there that we turned at, and they turned right, which is the wrong way if you're planning to get on the highway, which he was. And I should mention, this entire time, he never shifted out of first gear, and the handbrake was partially on for the entire drive. So he drives that entire route, gets to the junkyard, goes to pull out onto the highway after touring the junkyard, turns left instead of right. So now he's taking the long way around instead of the really quick jaunt from the junkyard to the town. Still in first gear. At this point, he has managed to turn off the handbrake though, because he stopped at the strawberry farm. So now he's able to go the full speed of first gear. He had previously been, like, he had tried to shift to second gear a couple times, but was confused by the fact that the engine was stalling out because he was driving with the handbrake on. Of course, he didn't realize the handbrake was on, even though the light was on the entire time. Oh, you know what? Let's do this. That's a nice looking light there, you know that? But yeah, there was so many things. He ended up not making it to town. He died when he was nearly back at the road that would take him back home. I shit you not. He was that close. He died of thirst. Well, thirst and getting hit by traffic. But well, no, it wasn't traffic. No, he got brave enough because he was dying of thirst. He got brave enough to start shifting up through gears. Got up the 4th gear, got to the corner, and drove off the corner, and then crashed into the woods and died. This was like a 40-minute video. He was on a quest for sausages. He was on a quest for Willies. Oh, and a portion of the drive, he just had the door open, like, of the van. And he had put the case of beer on the passenger side seat. And as he didn't realize it, I caught it because of the sound. The beer fell out of the van as he was passing Grandma's house. So that's why he was dying of thirst. The reason he stopped at the strawberry farm, by the way, was he was hoping he could ask the people there for a drink of water. This was prior to the addition of the pumps, so he couldn't just go anywhere and get a drink. At that time, your options were beer or tap. One, two, three, four, 5, 6. I wish there was a more clear view from here to there. Yeah. You know, there is a mod that removes a lot of the little trees. Honestly, I want to get back the mod that removes the tree walls, but unfortunately it's broken. And was honestly a lifesaver if you were playing this with the native Linux build, because the transparency on the trees was broken. Alright, we got a firewood job to do. Let's do that. It sets them off. That's better. Still plenty loud, but it's not leaving my ears ringing. But yeah, I'm reasonably sure that setting off the fireworks or putting the fireworks in the drum and then lighting it does set them off. I don't know what happens if you have the bag in it, but I hope the answer is a massive explosion. Also, can we talk about how like 2 logs is enough, or 4 logs or whatever it was here was like $40 in wood. Exactly. Just a small nuke for the fans, you know? So I've decided that this time my goal really is to complete the race. I want to see if the trophy gets pulled forward. By the way, did you see the update to the My Summer Car or My Winter Car Steam page? Happened last night. They added a release date. It now says, instead of coming soon, it says December. Ah, yes, the Hori wheel, yeah. Meanwhile, this is a neat
When
wheel.
I think of brands to buy a sim rig from, if I'm honest, Turtle Beach would not be my first choice, or second, or third. I didn't even know that they made steering wheels, but when they reached out asking if we wanted to check out their Velocity 1 racing wheel, I looked at the specs and the price, and holy crap, If this thing's even half as good as they say, it could be the best budget option on the market for racing wheels. So let's unbox this thing and see how she does. Of course, I've actually been using this for...
Can I just point out that, you know, some people think that the breakup between LTT and Alex here was bad, right? You know, it was bad because, you know.
Hell yeah!
LTT's commuter backpack is built to be the ultimate everyday carry for tech-savvy commuters or students. I've been using mine for months now, and it has been awesome for just everyday use and even full weeks of trade shows.
I'm just saying, LTT is sponsoring Alex on Zip Tie Tech. And yes, I don't know why the screen capture is so fucking low quality. I don't know why. I'm just happy that I can do game capture and not have it running like that. But that's the thing, it's not. It's a direct capture, but it's just Pipewire being laggy, I guess. Well, to be clear, most of the time that I was streaming, I used Pipewire for the capture. It was fine. Right now I'm using OBS Game Capture because it can inject itself into the render pipeline and just capture the frames. But off by one. Damn. One wasted log. Yeah, you're not using Linux anymore, are you? If you want to try Linux that is a lot less diving into the deep end, go try out Bazzite. There it goes. I don't know why I was struggling with that. But yeah, check out Bazzite. It is, frankly, great. Got Windows 11 running and that stuff. Now my system is working with hopes and dreams at the moment. It's the last thing I want to change. Fair enough. Yeah, Bazzite, though, is like very much just what if Steam Deck, but regular hardware. With all the benefits that come from said. As long as you're not using an NVIDIA graphics card. Which is true of Linux in general, so. Oh, okay, fair enough then. I think they do have a NVIDIA. Yeah, no, they definitely have an NVIDIA version of the project, but you don't get the a bunch of features because NVIDIA. Next PC is going to be all AMD. I can't recommend it enough. Although, okay, so that actually might not be as big of an issue in the near future. There is a project called NVK, and it pairs with, I forget what it's called, but there's a new kernel module written in Rust specifically for running NVIDIA GPUs like Nouveau, but it's 2000 series and newer without needing NVIDIA's user space stuff. In other words, it's like Nouveau, except that it actually works really well, at least in theory, because it's still using NVIDIA's blobs to control. Yeah, that's absolutely fair. But it's using NVIDIA's binary blobs to run the cards, so you get all the functionality, reclocking, LED support, all of that stuff. And then the user space is entirely free. It runs on Mesa. It uses all the standard libraries. No more fucking around. As long as you have a relevant binary blob for your video card, the driver will just work, and you will be able to control it, and it will work good. Right now, it is about 50-ish% the performance of the official driver. But Zinc, which is a OpenGL to Vulkan translation layer, went from that same point to being honestly faster than straight OpenGL in a lot of games in like a year. So I'm excited for that, because I have a 3070. I want to be able to ditch NVIDIA's drivers. Because I firmly believe that NVIDIA's hardware paired with the graphics stack on Linux without NVIDIA's bullshit is going to be a far better experience. Because, like, think about it from this perspective. As soon as it's usable, as soon as it's, like, roughly, good enough for people to start using it, people are going to start optimizing it, which is kind of where it's at now. It's good enough that you could use it. People are going to start optimizing it, and then all of a sudden you're going to go from something that mostly works to something that actually really works. Because, like, it's well known at this point that, and the AMD hardware works significantly better on Linux than it does on Windows. Like, the video cards, just, you get a higher frame rate. Because the open source video stack is just that much better. And a big part of that's going to be the driver, of course, but a big part of it is just Mesa. Mesa and related utilities. But for what it's worth, I absolutely agree. I think in the medium term, AMD is going to release cards that are faster than NVIDIA, just in general. They're still going to be worse on Windows because AMD, I swear to God, doesn't know how to write a driver to save their life. But NVIDIA doesn't either recently, so that's not really a big differentiator anymore, is it?
vähän vaavampaa jakkaa. Osta kaljaa ja makkaroni, eiköhän sillä pärjää. Ja voi tehdä varmaan lisääkin tarvihen näitä, niin voit jaksat tehdä sillä rahalla ja makkaralla. Niin. Ei muuta kuin morjens.
Yeah. The price of why do you do a little X? Anyway, the price of RAM right now is completely bonkers. It is insane. I have no idea if that's coming down or not. There we go. Asus actually just announced, and this might make you giggle, Asus just announced a card that you can put your DDR4 into that physically and electronically adapts it to work in DDR5 motherboards. Because we're at the point where that is actually a good idea. You won't be able to run the memory at full speed, not even full DDR4 speed, because the traces are too long. But you can use your DDR4 on a DDR5 motherboard because you can't get DDR5 at a reasonable price, and DDR4 is going the same way. Actually, DDR3 is also going up, by the way. DDR2 is mostly unaffected. Most people are not using Core 2 systems anymore. But, like, the price of memory is just wild. And it's all because Sam Altman decided to buy 40% of the world's supply of DRAM. Not like finished DRAM, just DRAM, any kind. He bought the, I don't even know what to call it. The silicon, I guess? Like the right to turn the silicon into whatever kind of RAM he wants? I guess? And he did that with multiple companies. Insane. Meanwhile, and this isn't helping, especially in the US actually. Exactly. I actually have two 16 gig sticks of DDR5 on my desk right now. I consider myself rich. I don't own a computer that takes DDR5, but I have got 2 sticks of DDR5. DDR5 6000 even. CL 36, 36, 36, 96. At 1.35 volts, which is actually really high for DDR5. .35 is like overvolting on DDR4. DDR4 is like 1.2 volts. DDR5, I think, starts at like 1 volt. Exactly. I've got 2 of them. Not selling them because they're not technically mine, but I've got 2 of them. They're, if you want to look up the exact RAM, they're Trident. They're Trident Z5 Neo. Does anyone remember where the radar buster is being moved to? Look. December 2025. Yeah, that was just changed, like, last night. My understanding... Oh, it's at the Futari repair shop. Interesting. Oh, okay. But yeah, no, my winter car coming soon. He said if it comes out after December, he's going to he's gonna make it free. Oh, actually. That's not correct. Okay, I was gonna show you guys burnout. Yeah, that is one way to keep yeah. All right, we'll do it. We'll do it with this. Unfortunately, the this camera seems to be broken. And installed it. We, as far as I know, do not know. That being said, there is a 2-hour stream of my winter car that I have yet to watch. What I can tell you, and this is very fun, it does, is during the stream he got down to around here, right? I want to say right at this corner here. And he's added a road in the snow that goes out onto the lake and across to town. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a shortcut. A very slippery shortcut, but a shortcut. It's also worth noting that when asked when he was going to stream next, he said it's either going to be an apology stream or a launch stream. And if he follows his previous schedule for the last couple weeks, that's like, I think tomorrow or today. But we also don't know if he's going to maintain that, so. It could possibly be here by tomorrow. We could potentially be playing it tomorrow. Also, watching him do burnouts and drifts on the lake in his winter car was very fun. For whatever reason, he painted every single panel of his vehicle a different color. Alright, it has less of an impact than I was hoping. Yeah, I think I can win the rally. I know that you have to win first place, if I recall correctly, you have to average better than 80 kilometers an hour. And I'm doing that. So... I don't think you did, although it rings a bell that you were doing that. But I don't recall you updating me on it, no. I just left that there. They sold out of the drive while your DOA was in transit. Oh boy. So are you getting like a better one, or partial refund? Like what's the play? Interesting. Did they give you the current price? God, that sounds so good. I replaced the engine sound with the recording from a 3-rotor. It's overheating a little bit, I'll admit. But I did get up to a solid, like, 145. Okay, so it keeps selling out, and they take online hours 24/6, whereas they only take customer support calls during business hours. Today you finally got, okay. Well, I mean, at least you got it, at least it's happening, you know? I get the feeling that temperature gauge might not be completely accurate because it seems to just stay pointing up. Over 2 weeks later, yeah. That part sucks. That, very much so. Yes, I agree with that. That it should just be an automatic. When this shipment gets in, put one off to the side for Lewis. For Le Flou. Le Flou. You know, your name would work really well in French. Le Flou. Le Flou. Just passing random thoughts, you know? Damn, everyone's just crashing around here. There we go. I'll be honest, my plan for driving around here out here today was basically I want to drive the Satsuma fast. Check. I wanted to get the this. Check. I think I'm gonna go get the bottles from the dump. Oh yeah, my winter car. This is where the clothing store is. It replaces the Jojo Mart. Well, there conflicting reports on whether or not TMO's gone out of business, so more or less, yeah. I'm not sure there's been enough accidents around here. What the hell? Yeah, I just realized I completely just did not pay for my gas. Oh well, I'll pay for it. I'll pay for it next time I'm in town. He knows me. He's gonna phone me and go, "Come pay for your gas." Okay, fine, but next time I'm in town. Well, not in 1995, no. Gotta remember the time period wherein this game is set. I believe it shows liters, but might be wrong. I think it prices it by liters, but I don't know that. You can measure a car's fuel efficiency in terms of square inches per square kilometer, or per square inches per square centimeter. How? Oh, okay. Well, yeah, you're just changing your unit of measurement for like how efficient the fuel is per unit of distance, presumably, or tire coverage. Huh. Oh, shit! That explains a lot. I was like, it's running really rich. Wonder why I was overheating. Could it be because I had the choke on the entire time I was going 140 kilometers an hour? Well, I mean, that's definitely part of it, but no, in this case, it was because I was doing 140 kilometers an hour. But, oops. That's going to increase the engine temp. How's my driving? 1-800 Twitch chat. Finally gonna be able to purchase some, finally gonna be able to purchase last of the bottles I think I need, what, tonight? Tomorrow, technically, in the game? For the kill you? You know, the sound the engine's making makes me think that I may need a new Apex seal. Oh, hell yeah. 150. Oh, yeah. Also, that temperature gauge definitely is not wired in. Gonna have to fix that. You know, I think if I went and changed the final gear ratio right now, I could probably get over 200 kilometers an hour. So I guess it's time to start ordering parts of the car, huh? Nothing too big because we are going to be we're going to have issues getting it home. Because we don't have the van yet. Keyword being yet, that's going to change. We have tires, those are fine. I want racing seats, better carburetor. I'm not really worried about the header. Honestly, I'm not even sure that replacing the exhaust system actually does much for you. You wanted me to come pay for the fuel. Also, that was painfully loud. There you go. They want hay bales moved. Grandma wants fish. A little bit late for fish. Although I think there is one in the trap. That's happening there. I need to do some wiring. I probably also need to add some more fluid to the radiator, but right now it's a bit hot. So I'm going to leave the radiator alone, because I don't fancy going blind. Get that 8mm socket. One wiring mess. I mean, that explains why the radio wasn't working. I'm hoping there's like a thermostat thing. My summer car thermostat wrong. Okay, apparently it's not a wiring thing. I am honestly amazed that I didn't have to buy any replacement parts. It's very common that you need to buy like a replacement piston or some shit. Yeah, I can't help but think it would be fun to park a car underneath my car. Like just doing this, you know? Just put it up there and then you pull in another car underneath. Boom. Double parked. So what do you think, Lewis? Am I ready for my my winter car? Is anybody ready? Well, Topless Gun's probably ready. But then he knows every single little detail of the game already. Hell yeah, I was hoping for this. God, that's mind-bendingly loud. I'm hoping that's the one. Oh, apparently the ambient noise is the volume of the car on the ground. Okay. You know, I do have to appreciate that the game goes out of its way, at least in my experience, to not spawn police on the road on the days where you have to go and get Jacques. I like to think what's happening there is the police acknowledge that you prevented a drunk man from driving, so today is your day to just enjoy driving. That's probably not the case, but... Oh yeah, that YouTube video I told you about earlier, DM. That video where he was driving with the handbrake on. I forgot he also hit a moose. Something I have never managed. He hit a moose. Oh yeah, you're right. I did hit one once. Still, it was like their second time ever playing. Years apart. Couldn't figure out how to drive, you know, out of first gear. Hit a moose. The fuck? That was weird. I have no idea why I was just suddenly drifting there, because I was not on the gas, I was not on the brakes. I was just kind of drifting for no reason. It's so much nicer when it's not murdering your ears, you know? Oh, good lord. Turn off some headlights. You think it's the headlights are bright enough? Because I'm not sure. Don't look like the fucking sun. On the plus side, I can tell when there's oncoming traffic. From a great distance, even. Or in this case, crash traffic. Also, I enjoy that I can just maintain 80 in third gear. Like, that's ridiculous. Bus doing well. Car doing well. Everyone's crashing today. It's kind of wild.
No morrat. Sinähän tulit nopeaa.
You're welcome.
Äkkässä ei aina jaksa vapaata juomisesta.
Drinking is a job for a drunk man? I agree.
Juominen on juopon työ.
Just burying that needle. It sounds so good with the 3-rotor motor. Oh my god, that would be like the most wild mod if someone made a mod that let you replace your 4-banger with a 3-rotor. Oh my gosh. With like accurately designed like horsepower graphs and all that. They make it like supposed to be there. And not just cosmetic. Or broken. Oh, okay. When I watched I watched a bit of Topless Gun's live stream of My Summer Car. The one went on for 2 hours. He did something really cool with the windows. He made it so that when the car is cold, they'll have they can ice over. And he showed himself scraping the windows so he could see. Yeah. And then once the engine started warming up, once the car started warming up, as he adjusted the dials and stuff, it all melted off the car. When he was trying to get it started, it wasn't starting, so he opened the debug window, and you could see all the stats about the car as he was trying to start it, including things like the temperature of the coolant, which makes sense. He already tracks it in this game, but that tells me that there's a strong suspicion you'll be able to pee into your radiator to, you know, make it go. But I bet that also breaks your engine block when it gets below 0. Because water freezes. I suspect it will be the case that you will have to use real coolant. You know, with the ethylene glycol and all that.
Tähän näin jätä minun. Kiitoksia vaan. Tuossa tulee vähän taksimiehen palkkaa.
50 marks? God damn it, man. He can give up to like 1,000 and he gave me 50. Also, random thought here. As a new player, how in the hell are you supposed to figure out where he lives? Unless you've, like, driven by and noticed him sitting there. It's just like the kill you and stuff. There's, like, so many things in this game that you'll never figure out unless you're told about it or you've seen someone else do it. Like this game is full of stuff that there's, like, nothing in the game to explain that you can do it. Like, if you can read Finnish, the side of the bags of sugar tells you how to make sugar wine. And TMO will, you know, mention that people are making sugar wine and doing that. But how do you know you're supposed to sell it to that guy? Like, I suppose he's a drunk and he calls you, but at that point, you never sold to him. You don't know where he lives. Hello, Evo. Yeah, at that point, you don't know where he lives. So, like, he's asking you to take him home, but you have no idea where he lives. You know he's drunk. Does that mean he'll buy your sugar wine? I suppose. But, like, that's such a obscure line of thinking to get to that point. You know, it's funny when people see me bombing down this road and ask me if I have a death wish. No, I'm just good at driving down this road. I remember, like, that corner back there, I used to wipe out all the time. You installing KDE on Android? Hell yeah. Do that. Do it. Why am I hungry? Is my blood sugar low? Because I shouldn't be hungry, because I ate reasonably recently.
Maybe I'm going about this the wrong way.
Okay,
I
my
thought this was
phone
the right
needs to
way to
stop
do it.
playing garbage time. No, that's a terrible idea, because I am a diabetic, and if I feel hungry and it is not because I haven't eaten recently, it can mean that I have low blood sugar. In this case, my blood sugar is at 4.1. And holding steady. 4 is the line at which you want to bring it up. So I'm really close. I'll keep an eye on it. Yeah, diabetes. I don't recommend it. Okay. But yeah, no, as I've gotten better at dealing with having diabetes, I've found that, like, some people cannot tell when they have low blood sugar or high. I found that I mostly can. If I am unexplainably hungry, that usually means that my blood sugar is going down. If I am, like, tired and lethargic and I don't know why, I've probably got high blood sugar. Of course, keep in mind that it's different for everybody. Some people genuinely can't tell. Some people could probably get enough of a beat on it that they can tell you their number. Just offhand. You know, let's take fish to grandma. I think there's only one, but might as well. Yeah, and honestly, it's healthy for me too in many regards. It's just also the case that, okay, so for normal people, including myself, having a low blood sugar is actually not a terrible thing. You want it as close to 4 without going under, basically. Regular healthy people, their blood sugar averages 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm using millimole per liter, by the way. If I was American, I'd be measuring in hundreds of something or other. But in my specific case, yeah, in Canada we measure in millimole per liter. Of course, the car's way louder now for some reason. Yeah, exactly. 160 to 200 is probably the range of like 3.7 to 5, 6, 7, 8, probably in that range. I actually don't know. But yeah, so a 4 and below is your hypoglycemic. 12 and above, you're hyperglycemic. Or 12 and above, yeah. Hypoglycemia is really bad short term. It is effectively you are low on blood sugar and you are in a potentially dangerous situation. High blood sugar doesn't hurt you now, but it causes your eyes to start going. You start to see, like, it causes permanent damage to your eyes. Your body's ability to heal basically just stops working. Infections will just run rampant. Exactly. It's far more long term. Like, people that have persistent high blood sugar, they're the diabetics that go blind and lose feet. Or they'll have a wound that won't close for years. Feet are very common. Genuinely, losing your feet is a genuinely terrifyingly common thing for diabetics. Because what'll happen is you don't have a lot of sensation on your feet, right? So you don't necessarily notice when you hurt them. Hang on, dealing with a spammer. If I can figure out how. Ah, damn, got it. Thank you.
No milloinkaan ei se äätys tullut sieltä Epsonista, vaan mihin ne meni? Kyllä ne on ollut siellä kauan. Mikähän siinä on, kun ei Suomen kesä kelpoo? Minä oon ainakin 78 kesää.
But yeah, no, because what happens, right, is your feet aren't very sensitive. Because if your feet were very sensitive, you'd end up just hating walking, right? So your feet are deliberately not very sensitive to much beyond, like, is the ground sharp? Is the ground hot? So what happens is a diabetic will get a cut on the bottom of their foot, and they won't notice it. And if they have persistent high blood sugar, it won't heal. And bacteria loves sugar. So you get an infection. And you still don't notice it because diabetics tend to lose sensation in their feet beyond even normal people. Until eventually you notice it, and at that point it's bad. You end up going to the hospital. And they try to save your foot, and sometimes they can. Sometimes they have to amputate, though. Because it can get that bad before you notice. Yeah, if you don't regularly have a look at your feet, you might notice the smell before you notice the fact that there is a hole in your foot. Semmoista se kielenkäyttökin. Nyt tulee niin paljon kaikenlaisia sukuelimenkuvia mieleen, että en visti kyllä käydä. No että, mitenköhän se Teemokin jaksaa tätä kaappaa pitää auki? Like there's... the thing is it happens more than you think. I have an aunt who she drinks, and that would be fine, except that alcohol turns into sugar in your bloodstream, and she's a diabetic. And she's had a hole in her foot for years. She can't walk anymore. She still has the foot, but... like, she has persistent high blood sugar. That's terrifying. Listen. You can drink, 1 or 2 nights a week. That's fine. It's every day you got a problem. It's just, you've just got to be aware of your body. You've got to pay attention to make sure you're not fucking yourself over. In other news, I currently have candy in my mouth. One of the rare times I get to have real sugar is when my blood sugar is going low like it is right now. But that's why I have candy on my desk. I've also technically got like a Hershey's Score chocolate bar, but for the candy, I don't need that much sugar.
leikit pitää jättää. Kuule se minä sanon, että älä sitten mene pelaa korttia sinne vastarannalle.
Exactly.
Kuule minä oon kuullut tämän jutun ja se on aivan varmasti tosi. Ennen kuin sinä synnytkään, niin se ukko siellä pelasi isänsä kanssa korttia. Että se isä voitti sen ja se niin paljon suuttui siitä, että se
But yeah, no,
kirjoitti
if you
isänsä
just
ja
pay
se
attention to your
voitti
body,
kuule.
honestly.
Ja se
Pay
koko
attention to your
talo
body and
paloi. Niin paljon se kirosi, että
just
se koko talo paloi.
be mindful of how it works. Be mindful of how it feels.
Ja minä tiedän, että se ei oo
If you start to feel
ulkona.
lethargic and you're
Se
not sure why,
jäähdysäkin. Minä sen
go see a
sanon,
doctor.
siitä älä mene
Talk to him.
pelaamaan korttia. Siitä
Ask them
ei
to check your
pääse
A1C,
minä tiedän, että
which
se
is
isä on sanonut.
a really neat metric actually.
Isänsäkin tappoi
Your
sen.
body
Se
more or
minkä
less
isä
keeps
kuoli.
track of your average blood sugar over the last 6 months or so, and that's called your A1C.
Minäkään oon sitä ihmetellyt, miten se ei issään
You want it at 5-ish or below, I think. 6 or below 6, I think.
Mä kaahtelin, kun tää
Yeah,
60-luvun lopussa, kun se
I
oli
think you want it.
se hiihti sitä
I think like 5.5 to 6 is pre-diabetic. Above 6 is diabetic. 5.5 and below is non-diabetic.
Niin kova paikka sille. Mutta kyllä minä kaahtelin, nyt se pullo tarttuu aivan varmasti, eikä tuosta tuu mitään tuosta hommasta.
And it's just a rolling average of your like blood sugar over the last 6 months, give or take. And you're confident you don't have type 1, but my dad has or had type 2, so I probably need to keep an eye out for that. Yeah, keep an eye out for lethargic, for them being lethargic, for them just suddenly craving sweets. Because you can be diabetic low as well. That's a thing that can happen. Thank you for looking up the numbers.
Kyllä sä tarkkana olla sen juomisen kanssa. Kyllä vaan ruppee juomaan. Se on niin monta ukkua ja akkaa vienyt.
My numbers actually right now, when I talked to my doctor like a couple days ago, because I had some blood work done, I was somewhere, I think I was 5.9, but that's with, you know, a lot of management of my blood sugar, insulin, drugs, all that stuff. Where I started, I was actually like 7-ish, maybe 8. Like it was high when I ended up in the hospital. Like, I mean, I had high blood sugar going into the hospital as well, but like,
Nuoret ukot parhaassa iässä sinne rintamalle on laitettu. Eihän siitä pääse leviä. Ai sen verran ehti valtokkiin, että rakenni tämän talon ja tuosta nuo parit pellot laitto kuntoon.
yeah. Like, honestly, I would say one thing to do, Lewis, is if he's like the kind of person to just do it for fun, maybe, or you can convince him. Get him to like 2 hours after a meal, after you've eaten, put on a timer. 2 hours later, see if you can get him to do a finger prick and see what his blood sugar is. Because it should be approaching regular haven't just eaten blood sugar by about the 2 hour mark. Oh yeah, no, my blood sugar was really high. It was very high. But that is technically there we go. Gonna telling me off for filling a radiator. Anyway. What was I saying? I had high blood sugar. My A1C was higher. Much higher. But yeah, at about the 2-hour mark, get the blood, get him to do a finger prick test, find out what his blood sugar is. If it's still high, like if it's, 6, 7, 8, it's not a bad idea to, get him to, talk to his doctor. Honestly, it's something that I would quite honestly say that everyone should do maybe like once a year. Have a meal, wait 2 hours, see where your blood sugar's at. Yeah, but I mean, just in general. Like, if you have any concern at all, a finger prick is like nothing. I mean, buying the meter and the test strips costs a little bit of money, but honestly, I bet if you went into like a well, I was gonna say doctor's. I bet if you walked into a pharmacy and was like, "Hey, can you tell me what my blood sugar is right now?" Probably be able to. Or if you know somebody who is diabetic, they should, and likely do, have a tester with strips. And you can probably borrow it. Just make sure you give it back to them. Like, I have one. I haven't used it in months. I haven't needed to, because I've got a constant glucose monitor. CGM. Which is basically just a little device that lives on the back of my arm, and it constantly tells me what my blood sugar is. It's kind of neat. So my phone is just Bluetooth to my arm. Which is kind of fun, actually. Hell, if you have money to burn and you want to find out, like, how your body is on blood sugar around the clock, basically, for 15 days, and the manufacturer drops support and you have to jailbreak it? No, because the sensor only lasts for 15 days. True, that does very much depend on the brand and model, and also what country you're in. The sensor that I have is good for 15 days in Canada, 14 days in the United States, and I think 13 days in the UK. But that's just down to, like, certification. True. But, and hear me out, if you contact, Abbott is the company. If you contact them and ask them for a trial device, they'll send you one. They'll just give you one. They'll do one per household, if I'm not mistaken. If there's signal interference, it just won't display a number. It just says unable to get a reading. And at that point, you take your phone, and you hold it up to the sensor, and it uses NFC to get all the data instead. Including up to 12 hours of historic data rate. 12 hours of previous data that may not have been transmitted. Oh, that mod crashed. Fair. Okay, what's next on the to-do list? I've done grandma. I'm not going to... I refuse to do hay bales. I mean, in theory, yes. In practice, nobody really wants to fuck with diabetics. It's not really a target for doing that. I do think that they are a neat source of microcontrollers. I certainly haven't, wink wink. You know, who doesn't like a microcontroller that can run on a button cell for at least 15 days? And I'm not talking about a big button cell. I'm talking like a microscopic button cell for 15 days with compute, with memory, with storage, and with Bluetooth and NFC. Like, it's actually a really cool little device. And in terms of just what it is. Might as well prep the tractor with more wood, I guess. Got nothing better going on. Oh, you know what? No. Never mind. There's two things I need to do. I need to go pay my bill. I need to buy some car parts. Do I go for it? There are... Hmm. I'm also going to be buying juice. But yeah, in terms of, like, targets that are worth hacking, the Bluetooth connection between a person and their blood sugar is a really shitty one with very little value. So, if you're doing it, you're just a bad person. There's nothing valuable there to fuck with. I love how the mail is just slowly falling out of the glove box. They might not know unless the device name literally says it. Then again, they might only see Bluetooth addresses. It doesn't announce itself. It is configured entirely via NFC and then uses low power Bluetooth to your phone because most people don't leave their phone very far from themselves, especially when it's also their blood glucose meter. Plus, when I leave the house, I do just like carry I carry my insulin and I carry some Oreos, some cheese Oreos from Japan because delicious, and my normal sensor, my finger prick kit. it takes like 4 seconds. Well, it takes like 20 seconds to prick my finger and know for sure where my blood sugar's at any given time. Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I would never trust it on its own. There is always a backup, because things can happen. My phone can die. You can probably find it on GitHub, to be honest. There are people that have actively been looking, like, reverse engineering it. And in fact, there's a third-party app that I played around with it that actually not netted me an extra day of use. But I went back to the official one because it was super jank. And not worth it for one singular extra day, where the number over the course of the day got more and more inaccurate. So, like, 15 days is, like, the proper upper limit for accuracy on this device. After that, the readings get more and more out from reality. They actually recently had to do a recall on the newer version of the one that I have. Mostly because it was reading artificially low at times. Or was it artificially high? It was one of the two. Anyway, the sensor was reading artificially incorrect. And there had been like 700 people that had been injured by this, and like 7 people had died. It takes a while when you're installing it on a phone, in a container essentially, because that's what you're doing. Unless you've like actually replaced Android. It's still virtualization without, you know, well, virtualization, quote unquote, but like it's still not quite a standard Android workload, is it? Sure, I was like totally parked on the wrong side of the pumps for this. Maybe you have something running in the background. I don't know. It's your phone. Probably. I have, to my displeasure, let me check about, an S21 FE. Which I wish I didn't, because I would love a phone that wasn't made by Samsung. Samsung did a lot of stupid things.
Kuulepa, nyt se olisi oikein sisun näköinen homma tässä. Käy jakamassa näitä H-Kapan-mainoksia tuonne kyläläisille, niin minä maksan sulle sitten vähän siitä vaivanpalaa. Ei muuta kuin käyt puottamassa vaan jokainen
Hey look, it's the bus driver. Because he crashed his bus. So he just wanders around. Did you know your body weight in the game actually affects how fast you can run? If you get fat enough, you can actually end up slowing down when you're running. Yep. And meanwhile, I can't unlock my bootloader because I don't own my hardware, even though I do. It is legally mine. But no, because Samsung made it. I'm not frustrated at all. Alright, so I did that. Went to the shopping. I paid the bill. I did the thing. Okay. So over in here is where our job in winter car is going to be. At least as I understand it. Damn, everyone's crashing right now. Oh yeah, because of those two-hour streams, we actually got some of the music from my winter car. Listen to it on YouTube. It was recorded from the stream, but it's rap music. You know, I feel like it's gonna rain. It's probably crazy. Oh, that's nice. And handy. How the hell are you pulling 130 watts at idle? Let alone 200. What the hell? That's so much. Is there like only one radio station? What the heck? I mean, I suppose, but still. I wonder if you might have good. I wonder if you might have luck with configuring the power state instead of like switching a refresh rate. What if you just made it so that when the computer is considered idle, you switch it to manual power management, and then crank down the power state to the minimum one, where it runs at like 50 megahertz or whatever. Because ultimately, that's going to be the card failing to switch power states that's causing it to have such a high load. So in theory, if you just manually control the power state, well, the good news is the path should be very similar for files you want to change. Because at the end of the day, you're just reading and writing files in memory. Because Linux is like that. That's a good question. Honestly, I have no idea. I mean, there's any number of reasons why the issue could be an issue. And honestly, I bet it's because they largely don't care. Because realistically, most AMD GPUs, the firmware I don't think is, but no, the firmware on the cards is not. I'm thinking about it, but like the reality is most of the cards are going to be in servers, where they're more or less likely to be under 100% utilization, basically the entire time, right? So with that mental framework, it makes sense that they don't give a shit because the cards are never idling. Alright, so it is something that can be managed by the driver then. So it's just a matter of figuring out what they did on Windows and replicating it on Linux. Or doing as I suggested and just monitoring whether or not the desktop considers the user to be active and changing the power state based on that. Probably, yeah. I just realized there's a thunderstorm outside and I answered the phone. Let's have a look, shall we? Trying to remember where the video device is. Hang on. Aha. So sys class, DRM, card 1, I think. Hmm. By the way, for whatever reason, the redness of your name just changed. Very strange. Uh... Yeah, that makes sense. I don't remember what the actual things are. Okay. Uh... Okay, yeah, okay, fair enough. Okay, so it doesn't like that value. But the answer is what you're looking for will be in here somewhere. What to do? Wood. Let's go do wood. But yeah, you should be able to set your power state in there. The trees cause me to misjudge. The options you want can be found here. The card may differ based on what device you have, and where it's plugged in, what, etc., etc. But what you want is likely in here, and there is power state stuff right here. And you can, if you work out what the correct values are, change it. Tell that you want to force power DPM force performance level. Or just, yeah, I think that's what you want to change. Okay, I didn't like that one. I don't know what it would be, but that's what you want to edit, basically. Low works. Yeah. That GPU is now sitting at 15 watts. Because at the end of the day, the reason that they stay drawing all that power, right, is because for whatever reason they don't, because you got a high refresh rate monitor, it never clocks down, right? If you override the power level, then it's gonna be low. And you've already got your indicators set up for when the computer's active or not. So you can just change it so it writes low to when it is active versus not. You can change it to auto or high. Your choice. I'd probably go for high. Wouldn't make much of a difference, but it will probably net you a little bit of performance, maybe. Depends on how it all works out. I mean, look at it this way. You can be that person. You can make that script and put it on GitHub and get it into your package manager. I mean, and then I'm sure someone will come along, make it work for, GNOME or whatever as well. Yeah, it should be upstream. I fully agree with you. It should just be a thing that is fixed. But next best thing, just have it work anyway. Also, I have made a flower of wood. Wonder if that's enough. I think I've cut enough to fill the entire trailer. Maybe not entirely, but mostly. Honestly, if you're happy with what you have now, I'd stick with it. If you need the more VRAM, it's probably worth it. Yeah, exactly. Honestly, I love my 3070. I have firmware modded it, so that's actually far more performant than it's supposed to be. I would love it if it had more video memory. That's the only place where it's really falling over for me right now. And yeah, Sam Altman, fuck you. Holy shit. It's happening. Yeah, I got me. Listen. I can't find a ray tracing mod for this game. So. Someone's gonna have to RTX remix my summer car. That's the only solution. No, but I mean, the sun also doesn't update. The shadows are updating with the sun, to be entirely fair. Now I kind of really want a ray tracing mod for my summer car. Yes! Everything else stays the same, just ray tracing. Of course. I did. Looks pretty good. Weird. Alright, let's open this up, shall we? Oh, I thought this was an actual mod. Just a picture. This is just reshade. Admittedly, that does actually look pretty good, but it doesn't actually fix the shadows. I mean, it is a little bit too shiny. Because Sam Altman bought 40% of the RAM production capacity of the planet Earth. That is why the RX 7900 XTX is suddenly $600 on eBay. I wish I was joking. Oh, it's gone down. Okay, fair enough. Probably because it's a 9000 series out. Well, yeah, but that's just because Nvidia cards have fanboys that are willing to pay a lot more for them. For some reason. Don't ask me why. I mean, the answer to why is because it works really well on Windows. But there are definite trade-offs, yeah. It's also more expensive because for cases where you need NVIDIA, there's no real alternative. That's just absolutely true. I am not trying to shock myself now. I'm debating how I want to get to town, though. And dying would be an effective way to do that. And I would just have to pee on the, I'd just pee on the electrical box, or the TV. If I had the dirt bike, I would ride the dirt bike there and put it in the back of the van slash truck. But I'm not. Could take the boat there, but then the boat's stuck there, and I only get one vehicle back, although it would let me grab the dirt bike. Okay, so I take the boat there, I put the dirt bike in the back of the van, drive the van back, dirt bike back to town, put the dirt bike in the back of the truck, dirt bike back to town, then bring the boat home. Yep. So, boat to town, truck, dirt bike, van, dirt bike, boat. Alternatively, I can bring the dirt bike home right now. Although I say that, and then I think about it, and I'm like, no, because I can't actually fit the dirt bike in the car. So I will boat over to town after I come back from doing this. That's better. Of course, my other thought with the big truck is I could just leave it in town and use the van to, or the car to commute. Because the truck really doesn't need to go home. The truck can just stay in town. I travel to the truck. Especially with the cost of fuel, minimizing the driving, like going down this stretch here. It is worth noting, by the way, Lewis, that that's less of an issue now because Zeluda is coming along. I don't know why I keep wiping out. Well, fuck. I'm not turning right. Drunken man's gonna have to get home on his own. But yeah, no, you're not wrong on that part. Businesses will not bother. Well, I mean, I imagine some will, but none of the big ones will. Although it is notable that that project has at separate times been sponsored by both Intel and AMD, which means that potentially, if they stopped dropping the project, it could end up in a situation where where they just include it in an official driver, and then big businesses would just use it because it's CUDA, but like on an AMD GPU. There we go. Now I can friggin' see. So what tire is it that's fucked up? This one. That looks pretty spot on. Cool. Let's see if it drives straight. The answer is yes. This is fun. Just casually just doing a wild burnout with some donuts-ish. By the way, this car is like basically uncontrollable with rear-wheel drive. Like, it's a lot harder to drive with rear wheel instead of front wheel. Which, the front wheel is what it has by default. That was fun. Alright, let's go get... Oh, let's, Yes. Drink first. Actually, you know what? No, I'm gonna actually call it here for today. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I'll see you tomorrow for either my winter car if it's out, or going to fetch the van and stuff if it's not. Have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow.